Car was driving good. Had good power since replaced the radio and the receiver that came with it. Went to 2.4. It had the old AM style Pede radio. Wasn't allowing the servo to open all the way. So that fixed that. Also, now the wheels turn even more than they did. It turns out the wheels weren't turning enough. But I'll just show you some of the things. I know some of the pictures I took during my build thread didn't turn out too good. So when I got it, the frame was white. Cleaned up the frame to get the original blue color out. Painted the springs, front bumper, battery box, and battery box support blue. Painted the air filter blue. I bought new fuel lines, new fuel line protectors. These are blue. Has a new fuel tank in. The old one was leaking. That's a new servo. I have the old one, which is still good, in my hobby box here, and I got a new one that came with the controller. It's a digital servo. I haven't to use that yet, but I might put it in eventually. All the parts I was going over I replaced. It didn't have this rear shock mount on when I got it. Got that on. Didn't have any exhaust. It was just this blue pipe going to nothing, so there was no back pressure. It was really, really loud. Sounded like an evil, really loud chainsaw. So I got the muffler on. Had to order one of these ends, but the hobby shop had the center part and one of the ends. Apparently they don't make the metal bracket that goes underneath here, the bolts and on. So I just did a zip tie job. I mean, basically that's how it hooks anyway. The metal bracket sits underneath. The zip ties go up through it and zip tie to, I guess, to the bracket. Didn't have a fuel filter in the fuel line, so I put that in. I did leave a section of the original fuel tubing in, so I can see this orange tubing. You can't see the fuel going up through very easily, so I left some of this. It's like a clear blue color, and it helps me when I'm priming the engine. I can tell when the fuel has reached the carb. I sealed the carb O-ring and the back plate with RTV sealant. Painted the receiver hold down tool and put some padding in there to help protect the receiver. And I got these blue body mount clips. Got them on the battery box, and they hold the body on. And that's pretty much. It's got new bearings in the front wheels. I got to put new bearings in because the one wheel wouldn't spin very long at all. The other one was pretty good, so I just replaced both of them, and they've been working out pretty good. Oh, it didn't when I got it. It didn't have this spring on here, so when I first got it, I rigged up zip ties just in order to test it out. And then I went to the hobby shop, got the proper spring. The rubber thing wasn't on here, so I cut a piece of fuel tubing. I'm just using that because actually the smaller one that comes on this gets pulled through this loop, so it pretty much doesn't do anything. It just gets pulled through the loop. It doesn't help brake or anything like that. So I cut a piece of fuel tubing, which is a little bit wider in diameter, and that seems to be working pretty good. Brakes work good now. It locks them up and slides real nice. Didn't have a body when I got it. Just didn't have any. The guy didn't have the body. I don't know what happened to it. So I got one of the clear bodies that you can do yourself. I painted it like a gloss blue color to match everything else, and did silver accents. I just masked the hood, the sides, and the bumpers off, and I painted the one silver, and then I masked everything else off and went over with the blue. I did this, which was very time consuming. It took a while, and there's blemishes. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't trying the hardest on it because I knew it's just gonna get beat up anyway. It's my first one, but I wanted to get it as nice as I could, you know, without being too too ridiculous with it. But came with the decals, Nitro Stampede I put on there, Traxxas, the window decals, window decal there, has the front headlight and grill. Something I did by mistake. A couple mistakes I made with the body. One, I thought that was the back bumper. I thought maybe those round lights were like reverse lights. I was a little sleep deprived when I was doing this. I mean, it was like 2, 3 in the morning. I just got done painting it, and I think I was probably high on paint fumes because I was doing it in the house. So I put that on there thinking it was the back bumper. After looking at pictures of them, it's supposed to go up in the front there where the silver is. But I mean, I think it doesn't look too bad for what it's worth. It doesn't look too bad. I got the taillights and everything on there. Then I did the name, Need for Pede. And another mistake I made, when I mounted the rear body mount on, since it didn't have one on, I didn't know how it was supposed to mount. So I actually had it reversed from where it is right now. And these tabs were back further. So when I put the body on, the holes weren't lining up. I mean, they'd line up in the front and good and everything, but the pins were back here. So what I did was, I was like, well, you know, maybe there was a slight change in the body style, or I didn't really know anything about it, so I just drilled 2 holes and ran the body mounts through there. And then I was looking at my diagram that shows you how everything comes apart, and I saw that I had the rear body mount reversed. So I put it the correct way, and the holes now lined up with these holes, with the tabs here. So I had essentially 2 holes here that, you know, I didn't even need. I'm not quite sure if I like this or not. I just ran some of my fuel line protector into the holes just to kind of hide them. Like, that's not really supposed to be anything. It's just kind of for looks and to hide the holes. I'm still not quite sure whether I like it or not. I mean, I'm debating on whether to just take it off and just leave 2 holes there. I did also think about somehow running like custom exhaust up through the holes like smokestacks, but then I figure that'll probably hurt the performance because I'd have to bend the exhaust at a kind of a strange angle to get it up there, and I don't really want to mess with the performance, so I'll probably just leave that on. I don't think I'll change it. Let me get these body mounts in here for you. Get these clips in. And that sound you heard was this cracking right here. I mean, it's already cracked, I think, from one of the accidents I had. But you know, that's gonna happen. So there it is with the body on. I also painted the wheels. I forgot to tell you that the wheels were pretty rough. They're supposed to be chrome. The chrome was all like warped and bubbled up and everything, I guess just from age and abuse or whatever. So I noticed the center parts were the worst. So I went ahead and took some gloss blue paint and just kind of went over the bad spots to kind of hide it, and also go along with the accent blue color I have going on with the truck. So they didn't turn out too bad. I mean, they're pretty dirty right now from running into stones and everything. That'll happen, but I think I'm pretty happy with it. The truck needs cleaned already, but I probably won't do that until I run it a couple more times. And that's pretty much it. There's a view from the front. I'm pretty happy with it. I've got the antenna, which I don't need because it's 2.4 now, but I'm gonna paint that gloss blue and just mount it on here anyway, just because it just doesn't feel like an RC car to me if it doesn't have a big antenna sticking out through the roof. And I figured, you know, I might as well paint it blue to match everything else. There's a view from the back. I really like the stock dual exhaust. I think that's pretty neat looking. I don't think I'm going to change that, even though, you know, maybe I'll gain a little more performance with it. But I mean, honestly, it's hard to keep the wheels on the ground as it is. So I'm happy. I mean, later I'm sure I'll want something faster, and I'll end up getting like a T-Max or Revo or something. I'm not really sure what yet of cars, but I just was looking through a brochure and saw a couple Traxxas vehicles I was looking into. Also, I was thinking maybe Red Cat Racing. With the videos Ali Shama does, his seem to be pretty durable, and I'm not sure. The only thing that's holding me back is I'm not sure if my local hobby shops carry replacement parts for them or not, so I'd probably have to order them. They stock big on Traxxas, so that's kind of why I'd probably lean more towards the Traxxas. I did have decals on from the Spectrum receiver that came with. I had one on the hood, one's back here on the side, and it turns out I thought they were decals where you would just put, it was all clear, and then you put it on, peel the clear sticker off, and the actual decal would stick. It turns out it's just a sticker. So I cut them. I wasn't taking my time when I was cutting them because I was figuring, you know, that was just going to pull off anyway. It didn't matter how I cut it. So all the other ones looked crappy, so I just pulled them off. This one doesn't look too bad from a distance, so I just left it on. Eventually I might put some more on, but for the time being I think I'm pretty happy with it. But here's my hobby box. Got some parts, got extra spur gears, the old front body mount. The body mounts came with front and rear, so I took that off. Just various screws. There's some spacers for the bearings. There's my old clutch shoes. Old fuel line, old bearings. Some extra screws that I replaced with hex head screws. Extra body mounts. Got my RTV sealant, gear grease that I got when I broke the idler gear. New brake. This came. I had to just buy a whole new linkage setup just to get that spring for my throttle linkage. So I got some extra parts of that. I got my air filter oil, old fuel tank, old servo, still works. Extra idler gear again, shoe goo, which I didn't even use. Just all kinds of stuff. Extra orange fuel line. I would have went with blue, but he didn't have any at the time. He still doesn't. So I went with orange. And then I bought, you know, I had to buy essential tools because, of course, whoever had the car lost whatever, you know, what tools came with it. So I had to buy this, the multi-wrench, and I got a set of the hex drivers. And that's pretty much it. I got rechargeable battery for in the car. I'm going to be looking at getting rechargeable batteries to put in the transmitter. That way I'm not going through batteries. Also, I got an OS Max engine, 25 bucks. Has good compression. I was originally planning on putting this in the Traxxas just to be different. Have, you know, some type of different engine in. It was out of an HPI. I'm not sure the specific model, but it was an HPI. I got it 25 bucks, like I said, and I figured I'll use it on something. It just would have been too much work, and I just really wanted to get this together and be able to run it. So I decided to leave it out, but I have that for future projects, and maybe I'll get an HPI, I'll have a replacement engine, something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I got my after run oils, all my lubes and everything that I need, fuel, stuff like that, all down here. And there's the easy start. Well, it's still raining. It's supposed to rain, I think, tomorrow here in York, Pennsylvania. It's still winter. It's dreary. It's cold. It's just a mess. And around here, it gets, when it rains, it gets pretty flooded. There's a duck or something down there in the pond. Stopped to take a swim or something. But anyway, I'll show you. There's the Maple. She was the window spectator in the video yesterday. I'll show you what I'll be doing mainly today. I'll be playing this, and if you guys want to play, once my guy gets out of the way, there's my name. I'll be playing today, most of the day, because that's all there is to do. So if you guys have Xbox Live, send me a friend request and we can play. I'm working on my, I believe, 3rd Prestige right now. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.